rising cases of mental health disorders and prevalence of drug and substance abuse, especially among youths, is becoming a source of concern in the country. If not nipped in the bud, it is capable of risking the overall sustainable development of the nation, especially as behaviors associated with drug abuse predispose the abuser to crime and contagious diseases. Also a major threat to national development, family stability, and social security. So our discussion this morning focuses on consumption of illicit drug and mental illness. Of course, our guests are from the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital here in Benin and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, will be joining us shortly on the program to discuss this issue. A very good morning to you. A warm welcome this beautiful Tuesday morning to Midweek Connect. My name is Agatha Egwari Oju, and just a quick reminder that we are streaming live on our YouTube channel, NTA Benin. In case of a power cut, you can join us. Don't also forget that there will be that time you can call into the program to make your contributions, to ask questions on gray areas. The curtain raiser for the program this morning, as you know, is the news tidbits. And Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki is calling all headers in the state to register with their host communities for proper records. This is even as he wants all farmers and headers in the state to collaborate with government and security agencies to fish out criminals terrorizing the state. Governor Godwin Obaseki made the call when he met with community leaders, farmers and headers in Obia Northeast, Oriomo and Obia Southwest local government councils of the state.
Information as to their specific locations. The operations will be carried out to make sure that we root them out. If they have to come here and graze, they must do it legally and lawfully. So therefore, we are going to undertake an operation where we vacate anybody who is not supposed to be in the forest out of the forest.
One of the reasons why we are also suffering this episode is this our bad road. Because we are forced to slow down our movement when we are traveling on this road. So they are able to hijack us.
Kilometer internal road intervention project by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing has been inaugurated and handed over to the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFO. Minister of Works and Housing, in a message read on his behalf by the Federal Comptroller of Works, Edo State, says the ministry has many intervention projects within the education and agriculture corridors of the economy in the state. He assures the people of the federal government's focus on construction of more access routes to the benefit of rural dwellers.
Since last year, our transport has been okay. At times we spend about 150 coming to from town to Nifo because of the road that the federal government has helped us to rehabilitate.
In fact, I'm just overwhelmed with the fact that we can now apply this road with ease.
Without having a good road or good environment, water and all that into an institution, it discourages a lot of students.
The federal government has magnanimously helped us out with this project because we could not have even done this work with our budgetary provisions.
And to political matters now, the immediate past national chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshomole, has described the ongoing registration and revalidation exercise of the party as double registration of members who have been in the party since inception, saying that it could amount to constitutional crisis if the leadership is not careful in handling the process. He made the remark while registering in his unit in Iyamu Ward 10, Isako West local government area.
There is nothing in the APC constitution that says you shall revalidate or renew. It's not like a driver's license. Once you join the party, unless you leave and you meet the requirement of membership, words such as revalidate, renew, they are strange to APC constitution.
I'm trying to use the opportunity to urge all our APC members, real APC core member, to go and register from today till the 23rd.
Chapter of the party is urging citizens to turn out en masse and take advantage of its nationwide membership registration and revalidation exercise. State Secretary of the party, Lawrence Oka, made the call while monitoring the day one of the two-week exercise in Oedo.
It's really the first time in the history of Nigerian politics for a political party to subject themselves to fresh registration. All members, whether you are old or not, come out and register now. It's a fresh registration, it's ongoing.
We are doing this for one purpose, for the purpose of keeping proper records of our members.
The validation of party exercise is taking place at each unit level, and the unit is the minutiae platform of grassroots party democracy.
We'll be taking a break at this point. When we return, the main course on the program for today.
Coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is an infectious disease that affects the respiratory system. Symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, shortness of breath. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia or breathing problems. More rarely, the disease can be fatal, but that's mainly among older people with pre-existing conditions. The virus is transmitted through direct contact with respiratory droplets from an infected person and by touching surfaces that are contaminated. People should maintain at least 3 feet of distance between themselves and people who are coughing, sneezing, and have a fever. To prevent the coronavirus infection, wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds using soap and running water or alcohol-based hand rub, sanitizer, or gel. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing. You can also use your elbow when sneezing or use a tissue, then throw it in the bin immediately. Avoid crowded areas. Anybody who shows symptoms of coronavirus should visit the hospital immediately. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Benin Network Center.
Do you live in Aduawa and its environment? Or you need a conducive and open field in Aduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is the place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your other events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters, TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned, ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set to ensure constant power supply. We also have the NTA Pavilion for all your outdoors events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venues conducive and highly secure. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your event live. And above all, you can air your event on our award-winning programs like Events and Style. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
Coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is an infectious disease that affects the respiratory system. Symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, shortness of breath. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia or breathing difficulties. The disease can be fatal, but that's mainly among older people with pre-existing conditions. The virus is transmitted through direct contact with respiratory droplets from an infected person and by touching surfaces that are contaminated. People should maintain at least 3 feet of distance between themselves and people, especially those who are coughing, sneezing, or have a fever. To prevent the coronavirus infection, wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds using soap and running water or alcohol-based hand rub, sanitizer, or gel. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing. You can also cough or sneeze into your flex elbow or use a tissue, then throw it in the bin immediately. Avoid crowded areas. Anyone who shows symptoms of the disease should visit the hospital immediately. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority Benin Network Center.
All right, thank you for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, this is Midweek Connect, and you're right in time for the main business of the day. We are talking consumption of illicit drugs and mental illness. Like I told you, you can also be a part of this program. We are streaming live on our YouTube channel, NTA Benin. Of course, there will be that time where you can also call in and make your contributions to the program. Our guests are here. We have Mr. Oga Peter, Deputy State Commander, Operation NDLEA, Edo State Command. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
We also have Dr. Temitope Jegede, Consultant Psychiatrist, Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Benin City. Good morning, Doc. Good to have you join us here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, Doc, let me start with you. When we talk about drug abuse, substance abuse, what are we talking about?
Okay. When we talk about drug, substance, we're actually talking of chemicals that people take that can alter the chemicals in the brain, that can alter their behavior and act. So now we're putting illicit, meaning it is not acceptable, it is illegal, and there is a tendency for addiction. In simple, clear terms, so substances that are not permitted under the law, that when you take, it now alters the brain function. That's what we mean by drug abuse. And these individuals now take them continuously, despite the fact that it is not acceptable in the society.
Okay, Mr. Oga, do you have more to add to that?
Yeah. When we're talking about drug abuse, we're talking about drugs that are not permitted, legally permitted, not prescribed by a professional for you to just take. If you take any drug that is not prescribed by a physician, that is called drug abuse in simple terms.
Okay, and Doc, is it just about taking drugs that are not prescribed, or overtaking of drugs, or
Well, I was actually really about using drugs that are not prescribed, but now let me go further into that. Some drugs are actually prescribed drugs, but they are taken in ways that they have not been asked to use it. Okay, there are some drugs that we say use this way, then the individual takes it in another way because he's deriving a form of pleasure. Either overtakes, most of the time they overtake those substances because they are deriving a kind of pleasure from it. So that's another way to say they abuse prescribed drugs. Some other people abuse drugs that are not prescribed. My neighbor has an illness, and then she took it when she was ill, she's better. Yusuf, go take the drug. So we have issues like that. So that's drug abuse because it's not prescribed for you. Okay, so you can have prescription drugs that are not taken properly. That's also an abuse. You can have drugs that have not been prescribed. That's drug abuse. You can also have the taking of illicit drugs. That's drug abuse.
Are there implications to drug abuse?
Yes, there are implications. There's so many, like I was trying to define, I said they alter the chemicals in the brain. So any drug that is going to alter the chemical in the brain is going to affect the way you behave. It's going to affect the way you react to things. It's going to affect the way you interact. It's going to end up affecting your daily activities. Okay, so when we now want to look at the effects it has, one, let's look at it from the health point of view now. That's the first one. The root of taking these substances, there is a risk. Whether you inhale, whether you smoke, whether you inject, do you have complications regarding or relating to those roots? For those who smoke, they can have some nasal decongestions, they can have some nasal problems, then going to the lungs and some other things, okay? For those who now decide to inject themselves, they can have problems with the skin, They can transmit infections and some other things. So it actually now depends on the routes of administration too. Okay, now let's look at, I've just talked about the physical complications that we can have. Now let's look at the way it affects the brain. I said that they alter the way the individual behaves. These drugs have classes. We call some the stimulants. Okay, they make the person high. In that class you have the cocaine. Okay, so it makes the person high. We have some other classes we call the hallucinogen. Those ones alter perception, like the common weed that is everywhere, cannabis. That one alters perception, so it disturbs the way in which you perceive. Perception now is being aware of what is presented in your external environment. So when you talk of perception, it affects what they see, how they see things, how they hear things. Okay, even the skin, perception on the skin, the taste and the smell. The 5 senses are affected this time around. So that's one that affects the perception. That's the hallucinogen, where you can. Then we also have the depressants. That's where we have the alcohol. Don't forget that alcohol is not illegal to get it, but there's a problem because it becomes illegal when it is sold to children below the age of 18. Unfortunately, these laws are there, but they're not being followed. It shouldn't be sold to somebody younger than 18. Then they are depressants. Okay, depressants in such a way that they put down the nerves, they calm them down, and then eventually they act like sedatives. They make the person sleep. Prescription drugs like sedatives are also being abused. Okay, these drugs now, they are, because some people have gone high, they want to come low, they take the sedatives. We also have the pain relievers that people abuse. That's where we now have the common tramadol. Normally in the hospital, you're given 50 milligram, maximum 100 milligram. I have seen a single tablet of 1,500 milligram being taken by people. That's times 15. That's if the person is going to be on a higher dose, times 15 of what is recommended
to take,
as a single tablet. So it becomes terrible when somebody is able to take 2 at the same time. So you can imagine the kind of effect these individuals will have. So those are the problems we have. Every of these drugs have their own effect because they alter the brain chemicals. Okay, when they alter brain chemicals, they affect the way they perceive, they affect the way they think, they affect the way they talk, they affect the way they behave.
Okay, Mr. Oga, where does the NDLEA come in all of this?
Yeah, the NDLEA comes in the sense that, like you rightly mentioned, some of these drugs are not banned drugs, they are controlled drugs. Control in the sense because some of these drugs, you have to just take them where it's acceptable to the government. Even there is cocaine in the hospital. The cocaine in the hospital has to be administered based on prescription because they have their function to perform. NDLEA comes in the sense that the illicit drugs, because illicit in the sense that these drugs are controlled, they are under supervision. If you go against them, NDLEA comes in and arrest and do the necessary prescription to the users.
Okay,
that is when NDLEA comes in.
Just a few days ago, I think Sunday or thereabout, your command made some arrests. Can you tell us more about that?
All right. These arrests were made based on intelligence. Based on intelligence, we busted a warehouse at Opuje in Owan West. I think the section of Edo State Command, this is one of the biggest and highest arrests so far. The cannabis recovered from the warehouse, we have a total of 233,778 kilograms of cannabis seized. These were all arranged in 4 apartments, wooden apartments. It's just like a village, an estate, and it's one of the biggest seizures so far. With a combined team of NDLEA and the soldiers, were able to just attain this feat.
Okay, just imagine this is in the society what's the effect? Can you paint a picture of what this amount of drug can do to the society?
That's what what is really alarming. If we don't remove these things from circulation, imagine this quantity of drugs going to the market where it will be consumed. What will be the state of health in a country, in a nation that we are trying to develop? It's really, really alarming. Like she has expressed, both physically, psychologically, and social-wise, this drug has damaging effect in the society. So we are trying to just remove this thing from circulation. This is one of the feet that and we are calling people to just know that if we allow this quantity of drugs to go into circulation, to go to individuals, what will be their mental state? What will be the health state of these people who are using it?
Okay, from your line of duty, is it just, which is more prevalent? Is it the cannabis, or do you have more that you see every day, that you go after every day?
Yes, in this axis, cannabis is one of the common drugs that is very popular. We have those states for one have been rated as cannabis producing state amongst other states. So in those states, cannabis is more pronounced. We have other drugs also that are being abused, but cannabis is number one. Other drugs are coming up in the state also.
Okay, Doc, now in your line of duty, what is the prevalence level? What are the cases you see on a daily basis in the psychiatric hospital?
Okay. Just in the hospital, if we're going to see, let's say 10 new cases, until otherwise proven, you're having like 7 related to substance use, mainly cannabis. We have some few cocaine. Those ones are not readily available because they're expensive. Okay, but the cannabis is quite cheap, so they get it. Okay, we see more of cannabis in the hospital too. We get a few of them with cocaine. We get quite a number on tramadol too, and codeine in the hospital. We get quite a number with that too. But the commonest, then we now have people using more than one.
Yeah.
Okay, many of them actually are using more than one. So when we test, cannabis is almost always there. Almost always there. You find very few will tell you, no, I don't do weed, I do cocaine. Very few. Maybe like 1 or 2 in 10.
Okay. So but how do they present?
Most of the time when they come into the hospital, they come in with their relatives who are tired. Well, that's also one of the complications or the problems of substance. To the relatives, they are a burden. They pick money, they steal money, they go as far as threatening to kill their loved ones if they don't give them money. Some would remove the TV in their house to sell or to get money for substance. Okay, so we can, as part of the complications, you can have the economic turn on the family. The individual gets the money, goes to buy something, and you set it ablaze. Then also when you now bring them to the hospital, they're going to pay. The money they don't need to spend, they would have to also spend. Okay, the loved ones are not happy, the parents are not happy. If these individuals are going to work, they actually are not productive. They can't work in that state of mind. But unfortunately, many of us don't understand, or should I say, don't appreciate the burden of mental health. Somebody who is not mentally stable would not be productive at work, would not be able to maintain relationships, would not be able to interact well with people. Okay, so we have all those as part of the complications of problems of substance. The individual cannot do well for himself. So those are also part of the problem. So when they come to the hospital, those are the complaints the relative will give.
What about late presentation?
Most times we don't see people, most people don't come early. That's it's a deal. Most people don't come early, not until a problem has aroused from the substance use. only very few people will come and say, my child started. Then most of the time, people are not even aware. These children will have, some people will tell you, I've been taking this for 15 years. The father or mother will start crying because he just got to know maybe 2 or 3 days ago or weeks ago. So they're usually very careful. The relatives are not aware. Many of the times when they even come to the hospital, is not because maybe there are now mental complications. The individual is beginning to see things not seen by others, hearing things not heard by others, threatening violence at home or in the community. That's why they bring them. So it's not because somebody just come, I want to stop taking substance. Maybe 1 or 2 out of 10. But usually it's when they are now the psychiatric complications that they are brought.
Okay. All right. We'll go on a break now. When we come back, the conversation will continue. And of course, the phone lines will be open to stay.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies first.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen, with good laws,
Proper funding,
training,
and cooperation.
if it happen,
if it happens.
If it happen.
When you dey cough and you no cover your mouth, you know hear say coronavirus dey town? Oh yes, so my people, one disease dey town wey dey kpokpo the whole world, and e name na COVID-19, and the other name na coronavirus. COVID-19 or coronavirus na disease wey you fit catch if person wey get the disease cough, sneeze, shake your hand, or if you stay near where person wey get the disease dey and you let water wey comot from him body touch your body or your hand, and you can't use that same hand take touch your face, eye or mouth. Coronavirus dey Naija o, and the best way to dodge this disease if e knock for your door na to dey wash your hand with soap and water when dey run. Make you dey check your temperature all the time. If you want cough, make you use handkerchief or tissue paper or cough inside your elbow. No dey stay where people plenty, and no ever use hand wey no clean take touch or rub your face. If you see person wey dey cough, sneeze and e be like say e get fever, no form odunga and use medicine by yourself. Run kiakia maza go hospital when near you. Make you no forget to stone when person see, not dey blind am. So therefore, shine your eyes o. This message na from NTA Benin Network Center.
Do you live in Aduawa and its environment, or you need a conducive and open field in Aduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is the place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your other events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters, TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned, ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set to ensure constant power supply. We also have the NTA Pavilion for all your outdoors events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venues conducive and highly secure. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your event live. And above all, you can air your event on our award-winning programs like Events and Style. Wow, what are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
Okay, thank you for staying on the program. It's Midweek Connect, and yes, the phone lines are open now. You can call in to make your contributions and ask questions. 081-4969-3115, 081-1295-1755. Yes, the numbers are on the screen. You can call in now and make your contributions. Doctor, we've established that the use of drugs, especially cannabis, is a growing trend. I just want to know, what is the reason for this?
Well, reasons for one, usually taking substance, the age group is usually among teenagers, and then early adolescents, then maximum by 20s. One, these children want to experiment. So most of the time when people are initiating drug use, it is voluntary. They want to experiment, they want to feel among with a colleague, they want to socialize, they want to see how it will feel taking the substance. So usually it's voluntary. When it's taken voluntarily initially, you cannot, for some people it may no longer be voluntary, because these substances, when they get into the brain, they send some signals. We will say that there happens to be some rewiring of the brain, of the nerves, and so some people begin to crave for it. You don't know the individual who has the gene to get addicted. So for those who have the gene to get addicted, it may no longer be a voluntary thing. They begin to crave and want it. For those who may not have the high risk of being addicted, they may still be like, let me just take it once in a while. But for many people, the initial step is usually voluntary. I want to see how it feels.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, we lost that call. Mr. Oga, do you told the line, the same line?
Yeah, I told it same line also, and I want to also add that the availability of this drug in the cannabis certificate, like to call it, is readily available anytime, anywhere. There's no part of the
Sorry,
country.
when we say cannabis, can you break it down to the very ordinary person, what the very ordinary person will understand?
The cannabis certificate, that is the protecting name. The issue that it has street names.
Okay.
Because Indian hemp, marijuana.
Okay.
Cannabis sativa is Indian hemp.
Is that what they usually call Igbo?
Yes,
Igbo,
that is the Igbo.
weed.
It has so many names, street names.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
We'll come back. Hello, good morning. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost that call. So.
Yes, like the doctor said, also, I want to add that also the peer group influence, social status, some take this in because they want to just measure up to their social status, peer group, and other experimental stage. When once you start with the experiment, to experiment it, so it's better that you don't start. When you start it, you will be hooked into the drug because you will be graduating in stages.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. I can hear you. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from? Okay. Okay, all right, Doc. Okay, I think Doc will take that. He's asking if there's a medical value for cannabis. That's Igbo.
Yes, there are medical values, but in Nigeria, it is not legalized. So in Nigeria, we're not talking about medical cannabis now. We have too much problems to start looking at legalizing cannabis use. It has medical values. Because we have too many problems already. So let's make and then for what the problems are, there are options, there are alternatives. So if we can use the alternatives that are not giving us problems, that will not give us problems, why are we so much interested in using the ones that will give us problems? There are enough problems in Nigeria now than to keep adding to the problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shoma. I think he has been clarified on that. Okay, so, Mr. Oga, you talked about peer influence.
Yeah. I was talking about peer influence, and I was talking about stages of this drug abuse. You start with the experimental stage. You become, by the time you graduate to addiction stage. Once you start, you become dependent on these drugs. When you become dependent, you can no longer do without these drugs. you get to a addictive state where you will be hooked to the drugs. And the repercussion, like she analyzed earlier, both from the physical, the psychological, the social effect of these drugs are all abound for us to see. That is why we are telling people, we're telling our words, and most of the times we tell the parents, check your words, check your children to just know whether they're into drugs or not. Most of the family, they are not bothered until it gets to a stage when this thing become a damaging effect that you cannot. Brains are not mechanical that you just assemble the brain after sometimes. You'll be able to just tell us better. These things are not, you don't go to the market and get some part to just fix the brain again. When it goes to the level of psychiatric cases, it has already gone beyond certain level. So the parents should also try to see certain signs in their children, in their world. When you see your child having certain behaviors, most of the parents, they don't even check their children when they come back from schools. Check their pockets, check their luggages, so see if you see any paraphernalia of these drugs, to see their behavioral pattern, if they are changing. Who are their friends in school? You look at those things. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to just get them out of these drugs at the early stage. Drugs are not good, because I've been telling people that you can become a champion without drugs. All celebrated athletes I will know all over the world, they do without drugs. You can become champion without drugs. So there's no point to just go into these drugs. Most of the people that sell these drugs, their wards, their children, their family, they don't take drugs. But because of the money, they want to sell these things to make the money, their family are safe. They will destroy other people's children. I tell people, you cannot give food to somebody that your children are not eating. If you cook the food and you tell your children, don't taste this food, and you're giving it out to other children, you are a wicked person. You are a killer. So I also want to just encourage that the parents, right from the beginning, should get involved to check their words. Because even at the primary schools, nursery schools these days, drug abuse is everywhere. Drug abuse everywhere, and it's becoming alarming. We cannot be a developing nation and start with each of these drugs. It's very, very devastating.
Okay,
and which we don't nip it at the bud, it's going to affect us seriously.
Okay, while we'll return to solutions to this problem. Earlier you said Edo is number one when it comes to cannabis production.
It's one of the
one of the highest rated.
Yes.
But how did we come here? How did we get here?
Yeah, this has been our message. Most of the people that plant cannabis sativa in this forest, Igbo, marijuana, most of them are not indigenous of this state. From our records, they come here, they give them land, they give them forest, they clear the forest, destroy economic trees, have their cannabis or Igbo planted. They come here to make the money. And because of the fertile nature of the land they have in Edo, it encourages them to just grow. Imagine the quantity of one sting operation that we're able to recover 233,778 kilograms. It's alarming in one single operation.
What are the flashpoints? Where are the flashpoints?
Yeah, this area, especially our west, will have cannabis sativa farm. Also at Okada Aziz, there are certain areas that they are very notorious for some of these cannabis sativa. But what is encouraging them, the fertile nature of Edo land, is really encouraging them, and the potency of the Indian hemp they get from here, as tested and as proven, is better than other ones in other states. So that is what is bringing most of these people to just come and invest in their business, illicit drug business in the state.
Okay, now we know this problem, the flashpoints.
Yeah.
How do we begin to address it? How do we begin to stop this?
We have also been campaigning we cannot do this issue of this drug fight alone. We have gone down to the local level, involve the traditional rulers, appeal to them. These people that we have to work together, because the damage is on the entire community, entire state, and entire nation. They should help us so that we'll be able to just eradicate it. Even if we cannot totally eradicate it, we'll bring it to its minimal level. If the traditional rulers or the Odowere don't give land to these people, they will not have any way to even start the business. We have been starting from them. We have been telling them, don't give your land. If you give land and somebody tells you you're going to plant cocoa or whatever cash crop, make sure you supervise that the land given to them is used for the purpose that they requested, not for in-the-hem cases. And also, we've been collaborating with other agencies, NGOs, to make sure that issue of drug fight is a collective responsibility. NDA alone cannot do this fight. The impact, especially on crime and criminality, there is no place that crime is associated that drug is not found. So let us address this thing from the root. If you can fight the issue of this drug effectively, issue of criminality will be reduced.
Sorry, please, let me go. Hello. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set? Oh, we lost that. So, sorry.
So, like I'm just saying that criminality and crime is associated with this. That is the bedrock. Under the influence.
Can you spell out when it comes to the effect of drug and the rate of crime?
Yeah. From our records and that we've been sharing intelligence, most of crimes committed is being perpetrated under the influence of drugs. That is why if you arrest an armed robber, if you arrest kidnapper, if you arrest them, you must find drugs with them in their possession, because that is what enhances them to do whatever they want to just do to achieve their criminal act.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ada.
Okay, I can hear you. Hello, I can hear you. Oh, we lost that call. So, sir, you're talking about crime?
Yes, we're talking about crime related and association with a drug issue. It's the bedrock. And we have to just, if we are fighting drugs, we should also just give serious attention to issue of drugs and drug abuse. Like you rightly said, illicit drugs, they are already banned. They are controlled drugs, control in the sense that these drugs are not banned drugs, but they have to be taken under prescription. Tramadol these days, like she just said, the abuse of some of these drugs is really important. When somebody will take more than 200, 300, 500 grams of tramadol in a day, what do you expect from that person? Some of them multiple drugs. By the time you start with tramadol, Indian hemp, small cocaine, they are graduating other diseases. Now that's other drugs of abuse. Up to the extent that some of them are even experimenting other drugs, like this aerosol, like
the paint, nail polish,
this nail polish, soak away, lizard excreta.
Really?
Yes, it has gone to the extent that they are experimenting with so many drugs, and some will abuse multiple drugs at a time. So it becomes a very complex.
Okay, Doc, can you come in here?
Okay, to talk about some of the
yeah, so you were talking about this.
Yes, the side effects. Now let's look at. I want to just look at. Sometimes when people take these substances, we have seen them convulsing. You have seen them. You get it. It affects a lot of things, but I don't know why. Like, I keep wondering why somebody would take something that you know is harmful, and that's why the best thing is do not start.
But like he said, it's not just about now. It's getting away gradually, or away from just taking by mouth. You have to inhale.
Yes, there are so many routes now. They inject themselves. Somebody will have a lot of scars and.
Sorry. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, please. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Lucy from Midweek.
Okay. Hello, I can hear you. Oh, so we're having a network challenges today.
Let me just say one or two things about what we would describe as dependence, and then we'll be able to fix some of these questions. When we talk about dependence, we're saying that this individual neglects other sources of pleasure to take this substance, neglects other sources of pleasure to get the effect that is getting from substance. That's one. Then it starts small and then increase gradually. It goes to a time that the same dose will no longer produce the desired effect, so they increase it. We will call that tolerance. It's still part of what causes them to become dependent, okay, on this substance. Because I want to achieve, let's say, 50 high before I take 2 to get that high. Now I take 2, I'm no longer getting it, I have to increase to 3 to get the same 50 high. So they gradually increase the number to get the same high. That's what we call tolerance. It's also part of this. Taking these substances, despite the fact that you know that it has medical complications that you're already suffering from. You see somebody who keeps smoking despite chronic cough. You get it? Despite the fact that you know that you already have medical condition, you still find it difficult to neglect. And that is why we're now saying that once it is started, there is the rewiring of the brain, in which the individual is no longer able to control his desire for the drug.
You know what just
cannot stop
when Mr. Oga said they even go as far as inhaling a stench from soccer away.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
That's why I'm trying to explain what is causing the problem. Now the individual does not have power over his use anymore. Cannot control the quantity, cannot control the time that it takes it. He has to just keep having it, because there is a rewiring of the brain, and everything the brain is telling the person at that time is, you need this to be okay, you need this to be fine. So it goes to any extent, including stealing or killing, to get what they want. That's what one of the things that now results in the crime. He can't control it, so he now goes to any extent to get what he wants.
Okay, talking about nipping this problem in the bud, you talked about traditional rulers and parents coming in. Doctor, what more do you think can be done in this regard?
For me, going through the traditional rulers, beautiful, but I'm an advocate of educating people. We talk about primary level of prevention, which is universal. Keep educating people, tell them these substances, with substances you may not get to where you want to get to. Without it, you're likely to fulfill your dreams. Okay, it's not about scaring them. If you take it, you have this problem, you take it, you have this problem. No, it's about telling them you don't need this substance to get to where you want to get to. So we must start our education right from primary level. We educate people from the primary level, in which we're talking about universal now. They're already equipped before they get to the age of I want to experiment. They already know that taking this substance does not add value to me right from young age. So we're likely to have more people growing resilience when they are tempted, when we educate them. Then we can also now look at those that are targeted group, or maybe indicated. Maybe they have relatives, friends already taking these substances. We can also get them together and give them another level of training, which may now be slightly different from what you're teaching the general population. Those ones, you may begin to tell them about the problems of the substance. For those who are already taking the substance, those now are the selected group. There's already a problem. they're already taking the substance, but maybe they have not come down with the complications. You want to tell them these are things to do so that you don't get the complications. These are ways of reducing it. So I am an advocate of education. Like what we're doing now, a lot of people are getting aware, so we should keep educating people. We should keep letting them know that these things have consequences, these things are bad. You can get to your anywhere without substances.
Okay, just before we go, your closing remarks. First, I'll start with Mr. Oga.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to just also, in addition, for us to just address this drug, I also want to advocate that our government should take this issue of drugs seriously. I'm even advocating that there should be a drug curriculum in our schools. It should be added to a curriculum so that it should be from the primary or at any level. Let drugs curriculum be included. I also want to just let the public know that our is not only to address the issue of drug supply reduction. The drug supply reduction talks about arresting, prosecuting. We are also involved with drug demand reduction. The drug demand reduction talks about the issue of rehabilitation, counseling, and other things. Many people are not aware. If you have your wards that are just you suspect that are into drugs, come to NDLA. We also counsel. There are so many parents that are not aware that we have such training. I will have officers that have been trained by UNODC to handle this issue of drug rehabilitation and counseling at the early stage before it gets to a stage that we can no longer handle. And when they come to the office, one will discover that it has passed the stage that we can handle. When we don't have the facilities, we refer them to the hospital, to psychiatric. So that should help us. We are telling the public that issue of drug is one insane person that abuse drug can cause harm to the whole society. So that should help us to nip this issue of drug abuse and other things. So at the end of the day, we'll be able to have sanity in our society.
Okay.
That we join hands.
All right, Doctor, your closing remarks.
Well, maybe I should start from the sanity in the society. I actually look forward to having the society free of crime, free of induced mental illness. We can start this by reducing substance use. Education cannot be overemphasized. Thank you.
Okay, you've heard from our guests. Drug abuse, substance abuse, it doesn't add value. It doesn't get you to where you want to be. If anything, it destroys your future. Thank you so much, Dr. Temitope Jagedes, consultant psychiatrist, Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Benin City. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, Deputy State Commander, Operation NDLE Edo State, Mr. Oga. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, and of course, thank you for our callers. People will try to call in to make their contributions to the program today. I'll see you next week. Until then, do stay safe. Bye.